Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's another edition of You Ask and I Answer, where you ask me all of your makeup related questions and I answer them on here for you. Today's question came from Sarah, and she was wanting to know how to do your brows. Brows are what define your face. It gives you shape, it gives you structure, and there's so many different products that you can use to do your brows. It's also one of the things that you can mess up the most. So I am going to show you what products I use, how I do my brows, and how you can maintain them, keep them from looking too wild. So let's jump into the video, and I'm going to show you how to make the perfect brow. Okay, so I've clipped my hair out of the way, and you can see how my face seems like it doesn't have as much structure or shape when the brows aren't filled in. You can tell that something's missing. So I've got my mirror right here. I have a 5x magnification mirror that I'm going to be looking in, and I'm going to start by shaping my brows. So I do want to show you, when you shape your brow, you want the brow to start in the corner of your nose going up past your tear duct. That's where it needs to start. And then you go from the corner of your nose through the pupil of your eye. That's where your brow needs to arch. And then you go the corner of your nose to the side of your eye, and that's where your brow needs to end. So we're gonna shape it with that in mind. One thing you want to avoid doing is doing that kind of paisley shape brow where it's rounded here and then it's rounded here. That's not a natural brow shape. You want to follow your natural brows and just clean it up a little bit. So I am going to tweeze. Generally, I really like getting my eyebrows waxed, which we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, so it's not really an option. And they're really great waxes that you can use that aren't going to irritate your skin as much. I have really sensitive skin, and sometimes they can make me break out afterwards. But you can find some waxes that are really nice that aren't going to irritate you. Benefit Cosmetics, if you can find a Benefit Brow Bar, I really like those because whatever wax they use, it agrees with my skin. I like it a lot. Threading is a great option if you have more coarse hair. Threading can be a really good route to take because it's going to do a better job of getting the hair out. It's not going to be a lot less painful, but it's going to hurt less than waxing would, and it's going to be more effective. Okay, so I'm going to tweeze starting out underneath my brow right here. And I have a lot of little hairs that are coming up, and it's funny how tweezing, just getting rid of some of the stray hairs, really cleans up the look, and you see a huge difference once you actually fill in your brow when you've cleaned up all of the little stray hairs. And please ignore my nasty COVID nails. That my artificial nails came off and my real nails just will not hold polish on right now. Okay, so one thing you can do when you're plucking is to kind of pull your skin a little taut, because it makes it hurt less when the hair actually comes out. So I'm getting all of these strays. I'm not really messing with the shape right now. I'm just getting all of the strays out. Okay, so when I'm looking at the hairs that are coming down the tail, again, I want to make sure I'm not going to pluck too much. We never want to over pluck. So again, going from the side of my nose to the side of my eye and making sure that I keep the hair that goes down to here. Now, if the hairs are coming down way too far towards the lid, obviously pluck those out, but you want to make sure that you're keeping a nice tail to your eyebrow. Okay, so it looks pretty good to me. So now I'm gonna do the top of the eyebrow. It's so funny, we're gonna see the difference really coming through in just a second. I don't know if this happens to any of you, but whenever I pluck, it makes me want to sneeze. Or my nose starts running. So if I'm sniffling, it's from that. And allergies. We are in Georgia. Okay, so I have that done. So now I'm going to focus on the inner corner. So again, we're going to follow from the side of my nose up to the side of my eye, and that is where my brow needs to start. So I only have a couple of hairs that are really noticeable outside of that, and then there are a lot of, it's almost like peach fuzz hairs that are a lot lighter. They need to be cleaned up, so I'm going to get those now. Okay, and you can already kind of see a difference. See how much cleaner this is? Now, I have pretty tame brows. They're not crazy, but do make sure whenever you're doing this, you brush out your brows. And if you brush them up, and again, I do this pretty frequently, so my brows aren't crazy right now, but if you brush them up, and there are a lot of pieces that are really sticking up a lot higher, you can just take your scissors and you don't want to take too much off. You got to be really careful, but just getting some of the scraggly hairs out makes a really big difference. Now try to do it also so you don't have a super straight line cut into it. I like it, personally, I like it when it's a little staggered, but you know, not, you don't have really long ones sticking out and then you don't have it totally just like sharp. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to do my other brow. Okay, so now we're actually going to fill in our brows. There are a few different products that you can use depending on what look you want. I personally like a bit of a natural brow, but still with some good definition. So it's not super natural, it's not super bold. I'm not a huge fan of the really bold brows, but if that's your style and that's the look that you like, more power to you, go for it. So one of the more popular products out there right now is more of a pomade consistency. So for instance, the Anastasia Dip Brow, which this one's cracked in the middle. I need to get a new one because it's starting to dry a little bit. This color is taupe, which taupe is a really great universal color. You can make it work on most people. I usually keep the taupe and the dark brown in my kit because that kind of covers all my bases. But that one you would use an angled brush, brow brush. You would put it in there and then brush it on. I also really like, and the way I typically do my brows is with a powder. So this is the BH Cosmetics Well Loved. You can tell it's abused. This is the BH Cosmetics Ultimate Brow Palette. And this kind of covers all my bases with brow colors that I would need. And I like using a powder. There's just something about it. I feel like I can get a really natural look. I can get a really bold look. I can kind of go either way with it. If you want to go a little more natural with a powder, what you would do is use a brush but not really touch the skin with it. You want to just grab the hairs with the brush, and that's going to deposit color on the hair without it really sticking to your skin and being more defined. Do keep in mind with brow products, particularly with powders, they will oxidize a little bit once they touch the skin, so it will likely darken up a little bit once it gets on your skin. Gels. This is another cult favorite. It's the Glossier Boy Brow. And this So it has this little teeny tiny applicator like this. There are many other brands that have applicators like this. I believe Benefit has one as well. They're kind of the brow authority. They have everything brow and their products are fantastic. But Boy Brow is really great. You can just brush it on. It's going to set your brows. It's not going to make them stiff, but it's going to give them a little more texture and make them sit where they need to sit. But it'll also deposit color. They do have a clear as well. You just want to make your brows a little more tame. You can just use the clear. This is a clear that I have at Anastasia Beverly Hills. Again, they have a ton of brow products. And this is clear. So this is one that I keep in my kit and I brush on to clients when I just need their brows to sit and be a little more tame. And this can also be applied after your brow color has been put on. You can use it by itself or with another brow product. And then you have your pencils. This is actually just an e.l.f., which I actually really like. There are a lot of brow pencils out there, but for a less expensive pencil, this is a great option. And this color is in taupe as well. So this is actually just a pencil like that. And this super fine tip, you can just brush it on. You can get more of a bold look, more of a natural look. Again, I like more natural. So I'm gonna use the powders today and we will see what look we get from that. Okay, so the brush I'm going to use is the Morphe E29. It is a brow brush. And then it does have the spoolie on the other end of it. This is a great brush. It's just thick enough and stiff enough where it's gonna work well, but not so thick that it's going to, you know, go all over the place. You're gonna get a nice sharp line with it. I naturally have brunette hair, but my color is blonde. So generally I'll go for, that's why I have so many taupes, something kind of taupey. I like a little bit of a darker brow. I don't like to go as light on me, and I like to really look like I have framing around my eyes, so I go a little bit darker. So I'm actually gonna go into this darker taupe right here in the, again, the BH Cosmetics. Sometimes I'll do browns, it just depends on the day. But, okay. So I'm just going to dip it and knock off some of the excess. I just said excess. So I'm going to start by making a line that goes right on the bottom of my brow, just as a guide. And I'm not going to start all the way on the inside. I'm going to start where the bulk of my brow is. And with this, I'm really just grabbing the hairs. I'm not touching it to the skin. So I like to start from the bottom and work my way up. So we'll go with the tail, which again, the tail needs to end right there. See that? All right. And I don't have a very thick tail. It's not super thin, but it's not very thick. So really just that line is all I need. I'm gonna thicken it up right here. But I like to take the color, get on the bottom, and then just kind of go up with it. Because it's kind of how your brow hairs actually lay, where they're here and then they go up and over. So I'm just kind of following that guide. You want to follow what your natural hairs want to do, really. Okay, and now I've gone and kind of defined the top of it as well. I'm not doing a super hard line on top, just enough. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and create my line on the bottom. And you see how it's a little more sparse right there. So I don't want to go nuts, but I am gonna take it and just kind of do little flecks up. And I'm not gonna make it really boxy. I know that's popular if you like boxy. Again, you do you, but I don't like it super duper boxy. So just doing it like that. And then one thing I always suggest doing, whether you're using a pomade or a powder or anything like that, is to take your spoolie and brush through your brow once you get your color on, because it's going to kind of make it look a bit more natural. It's going to soften the pigment just a hair, so it's not as bold. Boom. That's a perfect brow. Awesome. Okay, so let's do the next one. So again, just following the bottom to make that first line of definition. And then just creating that tail, making sure. And it's okay to always go back and check yourself just to make sure you're doing it in the right spot. Brows are a thing that if you mess them up, it's one of the things that you really notice on somebody. You can tell that something's off about their face. Sometimes you're like, what is it? It's the brows. You want to make sure they're in the right place. They can make your eyes look defined. They can make them look too close. They can make them look farther apart. They can make them look kind of heavy. I mean, your brows do so much to the look of your face. Okay, now I'm just kind of going up. Pulling down right here and then making my little marks that go up and out. One thing you want to watch out for as well is when you're going into your arch, you can make it a little more rounded, you can make it a little more of a sharp arch. Think about what look you want to create. You're going to have more of a youthful look if you have a little more of a rounded arch. You're going to have a little more of a powerful, almost mad sometimes look if you have a very sharp arch. It really depends kind of on your personality, what look you're trying to go for, but your arch can actually completely change how you look. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. And so I'm just gonna brush through it a little bit. And you wanna make sure that they're similar. It kind of looks weird when your brows are exactly alike, totally identical. You always say you want them to be cousins, not sisters. Or sisters, not twins, whatever the saying is. You don't want them to look exactly alike, but you also don't want them to be distant relatives, so do what you can. I know that that's kind of confusing, but once you get into your brows, you'll see what I mean. So I am just going to take a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the clear brow gel, and I'm not pulling over, I'm doing little upward ticks. Just the kind of up and over motion, just to help them lay the right way. And this will also keep them in place all day. And I'm not bearing down hard on the brow, I'm just very lightly touching it. You can do a fluffier brow where you do the hairs just going straight up, which that is more in style now. I love that look, but I don't love it on me. So I had to learn that the hard way after doing several days of that. So, okay, I think this looks pretty good. I'm gonna let my hair down. And you can see what a difference that made to my face from when we started. One tip you can also use for giving more of a defined brow without putting on too much color is to actually shape around your brow with a little bit of concealer. I'm using the RCMA Foundation Concealer Palette, and I'm just gonna use a color that's a little lighter than my skin tone, let's say right in here. I'm going to use that, and I'm just taking a flat brush. You can use a concealer brush, works just as well. I'm taking this flat brush, just getting a little bit of product on it. And I'm just going to shape around my brow. So what this is doing is it's giving definition to your brow, but it's also giving just a tiny bit of highlight, which is really, really nice. If you want a very defined brow, you can go a little wild with the concealer and have fun with it, but again, as I keep saying, I like a natural brow. So just shaping. And one thing I've seen is when people do this, they don't blend it enough afterwards, so you can see the really bright color all the way around the brow. And that's not what you're going for. You want brightness around it, but you don't want it where you can really see that you put something there. You want it to almost look like your skin just does that around your brow, and it just naturally looks bright and defined. So just kind of blend it out with my finger. You can blend it with a sponge or a brush or whatever you want, whatever works for you. But your finger is always your best little applicator. And I'm not doing so much on the inside of the brow. I'm just doing underneath, on the top, out here, blending. I'm leaving the inside alone. So you can see how it defined it a little bit more. Just a little bit. It's subtle, but subtle can go a long way. Let's do the other brow right here. Just give it its definition. Brows are one of the things that I don't want to walk out of my house without having a brow on. One of my old coworkers taught me that, and I thought she was crazy when she would first say it, and I was like, brows, who cares, you know? Back when I didn't know the power of the brow. And then I started really caring about my brows and wearing more products on them and defining them and doing the right shape, and I was like, this makes a huge difference. Once you get used to it and then you see yourself without your brow on, it's like you're naked. It feels weird. So super subtle, but now I have some more definition. My eyes are really standing out more now because we have the brows finished, and it gives all around better definition to my face. So brows are very important. Never underestimate what they can do for you. I hope you have fun playing with your brows. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe, and let me know if there are any other subjects you want me to cover. Put it in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one.